What's up, nerds? It's your boy MtG here, back with another Magic the Gathering deck tech and gameplay video, and I've cooked up something really fun. I think you guys are gonna like it. We're gonna do Sultai, Ooze, Neoform thing. It's super cool. I really enjoy this deck a lot. But before I get into the video, I think based on my comments, I think a lot of my subscribers are fairly new to Magic the Gathering, and I've been considering doing like a kind of beginner's guide to playing Magic the Gathering Arena and how to use some of the mechanics in your favor, some of the more complicated Magic mechanics in your favor while you're playing the game. And if that's something that interests you, let me know below in the comments. I want to kind of gauge interest in that before I make that and spend a lot of time doing it, so let me know. And without further ado, let us jump into this video. Okay guys, so I don't know if you've seen this card, but Neoform is a very fun little spell. It costs a green and a blue, and as an additional cost to cast this spell, you sacrifice a creature, okay? And then you search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, then shuffle your library, okay? So it might sound a little bit complicated if you're not familiar with this kind of thing, but basically what we're going to do is, let's have an example. So Arboreal Grazer costs 1 mana, okay? So we play Arboreal Grazer on turn 1, and then the next turn we have 2 mana, we have a blue and a green, let's say, and then we will play Neoform, sacrifice this to play a creature. We search our deck to find a creature that costs 2 mana, just exactly 2 mana, because it's 1, which is this converted mana cost, plus 1, okay? That equals 2, simple math, quick maths. We are able to get creatures out of our library, and we're basically able to kind of climb a ladder here using this mechanic. And the good thing about Neoform is, so this is like kind of this has been used in a lot of cards previously called I can't remember what they're called. It's in Modern, I believe, but it's like Breeding Pool or something like that. Anyway, we also have Prime Speaker Vannifar, who does the same thing. She has a tap ability that does the exact same thing as Neoform. So we only have 4 copies of Neoform. That's all we're allowed to run, but we do have 2 copies of Prime Speaker Vannifar here that allows us to continue to tap her in order to do this ability, which is really nice. So as I was saying, we need to kind of climb the ladder of our converted mana cost, our creatures in our deck, and it's really, really nice because all of our creatures are going to have something, they're going to have a use for us that is very specific to either when they enter the battlefield or something like that, right? So Arboreal Grazer is usually the first thing we're going to play in the game. When Arboreal Grazer enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. So this allows us to ramp really quickly, and once it's on the battlefield, its work is pretty much done. So we're totally fine sacrificing it. We're super okay with that. So we can Neoform into Fblthp, which when Fblthp the Lost enters the battlefield, draw a card. If it entered the battlefield if it entered from your library or was cast from your library, draw 2 cards instead. So we can basically sack this to play this from our library and draw 2 cards with this, which is really, really good. And then we're okay with sacrificing this because it's only going to be a 2/2, right, because this +1/+1 counter on it. And then we can sacrifice it to get either a Leyline Prowler, a Jadelight Ranger, or a Plaguecrafter, whatever we want of these 3. And that's why that's the reason we're not playing a lot of 4-ofs in this deck, is because we have so many ways to search our library and get exactly what we want. So I'll go through the cards a little bit more, but we run a lot of 2-ofs and 1-ofs later on in the deck to kind of, because we can pick and choose what we're going to get. So we run 2 Fblthp because that's going to draw us a lot of cards in the beginning of the game. We run 4 Paradise Druid actually because this is really, really good ramp, and especially against aggressive decks that are going to want to remove our ramp spells or our ramp creatures. She has hexproof as long as she's untapped, so she's definitely going to last 1 turn unless they play a sweeper or something like that. But if we play her on turn 2, we can actually get that extra mana on turn 3 to play something bigger, right? We run 4 copies of Neoform, obviously, because that's kind of the card this deck is built around, and then onto the 3 mana creatures. We run 3 Jadelight Ranger because this really helps us get lands off the top of our library and make sure we have something on top when we draw on our turn to kind of keep the deck going. But also sometimes we just want to make sure we can get lands if we're starving. We don't want to mana starve. So sometimes we do have to go play the Jadelight Ranger to get some lands, but we also want to keep ramping, so we do have 2 Leyline Prowler. And this is kind of an underrated card, in my opinion. This costs 3. It's a black, a green, and a 1 of any color, and it's a 2/3 with Death Touch and Lifelink, and we can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. That is a lot going on here. Both the Death Touch and Lifelink are super helpful. So this can serve as a blocker for big creatures that they don't want. The opponent's not going to want to attack into a Death Touch creature, but also it has Lifelink, so against aggressive decks we can get a little bit of life gain as a blocker, which is really good again. But we can also just straight ramp with this more, because we can tap it to add a mana of any color. So this is really, really nice. We also run 2 Plaguecrafters because sometimes we want to get rid of. Usually it's going to be Planeswalkers that we're trying to force our opponents to sacrifice. Like against Control, Plaguecrafter is pretty dang good. So that's another thing that's nice. But we only run 2 of those because we also don't want to be sacking a lot of our creatures when we're not using it for Neoform. We also run 3 Ravenous Chupacabra because we don't have a lot of removal in this deck, and this is it. We have this removal for creatures, and we've got 3 Hostage Takers. We got 3 Ravenous Chupacabras, 3 Hostage Takers, and both are pretty good. If you were going to cut down one of these, I would say cut down Ravenous Chupacabra. I don't think it's quite as good as Hostage Taker. I mean, they kind of serve different purposes, right? So this one is like, you can basically steal it, but if they're able to kill your Hostage Taker before you're able to cast their creature, they can get it back. So it's not always permanent removal, but Ravenous Chupacabra is going to destroy them. But it's not always as good because sometimes this can trade and we actually get to cast that creature, so it can be a really nice trade for us. We run 2 Prime Speaker Vannifar. You probably want to run 3. I'm not sold on only running 2. I'm not sure. It's been fine running 2 so far, because we're able to go get it with Neoform sometimes. That's very helpful. So we can actually, if we're not drawing it, we play Neoform, sack one of these guys, and then grab it and put it on the playing field. So I think 2 is probably okay, but you might want to run 3. I wouldn't run 4 probably, just because you don't want to run into having multiple of these legendary creatures in your hand that you can't really play. So what's also very cool about Prime Speaker Vannifar is that she has a lot of creature types. She's an elf, ooze, wizard, which is so awesome. I love that. And for that reason, we also play Biogenic Ooze. When Biogenic Ooze enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green ooze creature token. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each ooze you control. So we can have lots of oozes on the field, because this is an ooze, and sometimes we want to actually buff this up because that helps it stay alive longer, and that makes it an actual threat to attack. When it comes in only as a 2/4, that's not very threatening, but if we can buff it up with Biogenic Ooze, that is threatening. So what's cool about this is that we can also sack something for one of these cats, like the Ravenous Chupacabra, to get the Biogenic Ooze, and then we're just buffing everything up. It's really great. We also run 1 copy of Massacre Girl because sometimes we need to sweep the board especially against mono white aggro. This is really good. Even mono red aggro, this can be pretty good as well. So decks that are going to have also a lot of tokens, things like that, things that have afterlife. This is another thing we can go get. Sometimes this does backfire a little bit and it ends up killing our own creatures, but usually we're going to be okay with that. If we need to sweep the board, we're just going to do it. We also have 1 Roalesk Apex Hybrid. He is a 4/5 with flying and trample, and when he enters the battlefield, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, and when he dies, proliferate, then proliferate again, which can be really cool, especially when we have things with +1/+1 counters on them, and we have a fair amount. We have, obviously, Biogenic Ooze is going to put counters on itself, and potentially Prime Speaker Vannifar. We have Jadelight Ranger, which is going to get counters, and Neoform actually brings the creature into the field with a +1/+1 counter on it, which is actually very nice. Because we have this proliferate and we can put counters on things, this is pretty cool. We run 2 Vivien Reid, and Vivien Reid is just very versatile. Sometimes we need to go looking for creatures in our library. Sometimes we use this to kill flying creatures that are going to be pesky. A lot of my practice games, I ended up playing Vivien Reid and then killing a Nicobolus the Ravager or something like that, and kind of saved the game for me. So that's this is an important card for a deck like this. We also run 1 Liliana Dreadhorde General, which I found that these games kind of run a little bit long. This is not a control deck. It's more of a combo deck, actually. It's pretty janky, but the games end up running a little bit long because we have quite a bit of removal, and we're trying to kind of get to a big play here with these kind of bigger creatures. And so sometimes Liliana Dreadhorde General is very helpful to come in like turn 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that, create tokens or just kill creatures. And whenever creatures die, we draw a card, and we're going to be killing a lot of our own creatures by sacrificing them with Vannifar or Neoform, stuff like that. So that is great. Also, the coolest interaction, I think, in this deck is with Muldrotha the Gravetide. Muldrotha says, during each of your turns, you may play up to one permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So, we can play one creature card from our graveyard, or one planeswalker from our graveyard, or one land from our graveyard. So, since we're going to be sacrificing so many creatures, we're going to have a lot of things in our graveyard, and usually we're not going to have a lot of things in our hand. So, sometimes we want to be able to get those back, and Muldrotha is exactly that. So, a lot of the time, I say a lot of the time, I've yet to achieve this interaction, but it's a sweet, sweet interaction that I'm so hoping that I get to show you guys. But what I want to happen here is that eventually we're going to get Prime Speaker Vannifar, we're going to get Biogenic Ooze, and then we're going to sacrifice Biogenic Ooze to play Muldrotha from our library, and then using Muldrotha, we're going to play Biogenic Ooze again from the graveyard, and then we're just going to have all these oozes and all these creatures, and it's going to be so sweet, such a pile of value. So Muldrotha just has a lot of value for us in this deck, especially at the top end. So, but again, we only want to run one copy of this because we have to sacrifice something big in order to play it, or we're just flooding out and we play this from our hand, which is also an option. But usually, we want to be using Neoform and Prime Speaker Vannifar to kind of work our way up in mana cost in this deck to get a lot of value out of that. And I'm just going to say, because my mana base is pretty budgety over here. We've got actually some Guildgates up in here. You can figure out the mana base on your own. I'll leave that up to you. We are running 25 lands, and I felt like we needed 25 lands because we just do. We have a lot of things, like that are kind of expensive to play, and we have to make sure we get them. We have to make sure we're hitting our lands every turn. But since we have a lot of ways to go into our library and get cards out of it, we're not too concerned with flooding out. Of course, flooding out is always kind of a bummer, but we do have other ways of getting cards and getting creatures on the field. So, without further ado, let's play some games. And we are going to be playing in Ranked, and let me celebrate myself. I just hit Platinum 4. It had been a little while stuck in Gold, and then I started actually playing some Bant midrange quite a bit, which Bant midrange is so strong right now. I did make a video on it, but recently, if you want to watch that. But I'll actually say that I've switched over to a different Bant midrange build that I think is better, so that's cool. If you want to look at that, I may end up making another video on Bant midrange with the new build soon. And that's what I've been climbing with. So I'm actually going to mulligan this because we just don't have an early play, and we've got kind of we're hitting our colors here. We just don't have, I want my Arboreal Grazer, and I want my, what's the Druid, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this and see what we get. Paradise Druid, that's what we want. Okay, we can actually play this because we do get Paradise Druid on turn 2, and we'll keep the Neoform on top because we're going to want that for show. Okay, Hallowed Fountain. So it's starting to look a little bit like Control already. I hate the Jeskai Walker's deck that's going around right now. That deck is so powerful. And we do not do well against that, so I hope it's not that. We go Paradise Druid here. So we have a Prime Speaker Vannifar. Okay, Drowned Catacomb. I think we play Drowned Catacomb probably, and go ahead. I'm actually going to play, did they miss their land drop? They missed their turn 3 land there. We don't really need Leyline Prowler all that much right now, so I'm just going to attack and kind of see what happens here. No, nothing. Okay, so we'll go Paradise Druid again, because Leyline Prowler we usually use for its Death Touch and Lifelink. But we have this. Okay, they just concede straight up. Okay, they were missing their land drops. So that game is a win. Oh, yeah. Okay, as I was saying, I wanted to go ahead and get that attack in because if we were going up against Control, the Leyline, using the Paradise Druid to play the Leyline Prowler is just a slower play, and we want to be a little more aggressive against Control. So that's all I was trying to explain in too many words. It took me a long time to get that out. Hopefully, we'll actually get to see... Okay, yeah, we can actually work with this. It's not good, But we do have Arboreal Grazer, and we can play Memorial to Genius with Arboreal Grazer. So it's not bad. I wish we had a black mana source here, but so be it. Breeding Pool is actually a good thing to pick up here too. But we're gonna go Arboreal Grazer and put Memorial to Genius on the field. One mistake you might make in playing Arboreal Grazer, a mistake that I have made embarrassingly before, is that when Arboreal Grazer enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. So what I did once was I played Arboreal Grazer, and then I tried to play a Breeding Pool, put a Breeding Pool onto the field, and I was like, I'm going to shock this in with Arboreal Grazer, but you can't do that. You just can't. So, yeah. That happened. It was very sad. I'm going to go ahead and play this tapped and not attack because they're probably going to have a hasty creature, because this is looking like mono red aggro, so I'm expecting a Get You Lava Runner here. I mean, they might just Wizard's Lightning on Arboreal Grazer, which, fine. Okay, so I think we go... I don't like to do this, but since we're going to want to remove stuff, what went into exile? Experimental Frenzy. I doubt they're going to be able to kill Prime Speaker Vannifar, and if they do, they're going to have to use several spells to do it. So, and that I'm really fine with that if they're wasting multiple spells. Okay, I was expecting Get To Lava Runner. That's okay. And if he attacks with that, I'm actually going to take the damage, because I don't want to go to 2 toughness on Prime Speaker Vannifar. I'd rather just let the damage come by and make sure she stays alive, or make sure they have to sink a bunch of spells into killing her. Lightning Strike, okay, so Lightning Strike and Shock, and that is super okay, actually. Because what we can do, yeah, okay, you just Lightning Strike and Sear the critics on my Prime Super Vannifar. That is a very fine trade. We can go Hostage Taker on Get To Lava Runner, and we pretty much win the game here. So we go, yeah, steal that, and then play the Forest, and then play the Get To Lava Runner, and then we have a nice board, and they have 2 cards left in hand. So it's not looking good for Jesse James 208. What can I say except you're welcome. You're welcome. Light up the stage. All right. So they've got some plays here. They've got some cards. They've got a Lava Runner. I feel like we're gonna just run them over here pretty hard. Yeah. I mean, the question is, what do we play? We can be aggressive. Actually, we can't play the Chupacabra at this point, but I think we go ahead and Biogenic Ooze first and attack with Hostage Taker. I'm fine with blocking with this Ooze token next turn if they attack with Lava Runner. Super okay with that. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot they can do to us here. Yep. Okay, they concede. There we go. Kind of saw that coming. They didn't have a great start, and I don't really think they played that super well. Because they spent a lot of spells killing my Prime Speaker Vannifar, and I had removal for their stuff, so we were all good. We were all good in the hood. I think their primary mistake was actually spending a Wizard's Lightning. 3 mana on a Wizard's Lightning that killed my Arboreal Grazer. That was really a waste of mana. There's no need to kill my Arboreal Grazer except to get it out of the way for an attacker, which they really didn't need to do. What I've learned in my little time playing mono red is that you really have to be careful about using your spells. I'm actually going to keep this hand just because you can run out of cards very fast with mono red if you're not efficient with your spells. I'm going to keep this because we can go Hinterland Harbor into Swamp into Paradise Druid, and then we've got, the world opens up to us at that point. So, because we can either play Jadelight Ranger after that, or we could even Neoform on Paradise Druid and play like a Leyline Prowler from our library. Okay, so it's hopefully not mono red again. I don't really want to go up against mono red over and over. Runaway Steamkin. Okay. So what we're probably going to do... The good news is, Paradise Druid has Hexproof, and so they can't really just shock her into Oblivion here. But they can freaking Goblin Chain Whirler. That's... Okay, yes, that is one weakness, is that she has 1 toughness, but usually they can't just do that. We are in a very bad spot right now. Yeah... Yeah, this ain't looking good, folks. It ain't looking good. That Goblin Chain Whirler on turn 3 was a horrible, horrible thing that they did to me that I will never forgive you for, Ruined Slover. Yep, and they've got all this stuff. Another Runaway Steamkin. So they'll probably, yep, use that to play the Runaway Steamkin, and then I'm certain they have something else in their hand ready to go. Skewer the Critics. Yep. Runaway Steamkin is such a ridiculous engine for mono red. It's so good. I mean, what could we possibly do at this point? Not much. In fact, I'm pretty sure we just lose. Yep. We play this, and that's a good game. Okay, well, at least these games are fast. I can get quite a few games in for you guys before I really have to kind of sign off on this video. But these have been quick. So we've saw mono red horribly played, and then we saw mono red just draw the nuts basically there. That was ridiculous. I thought we had a good thing going when we got that Paradise Druid down, but that Goblin Chain Whirler kind of ruined my day. Hopefully we'll see something a little more creative than mono red here. I would hate for you to watch this video and only see the matchup against mono red and whatever Azorius concede was in game 1. I go first. We can actually play Fblthp on turn 2, and then if we have to on turn 3, we can go Neoform. So I'm actually okay with this hand, even though it's really not very good because we only have 2 lands and no ramp, but we can kind of ramp with a Neoform if we go like Neoform Fblthp into like a Leyline Prowler, which can actually help us play the Hostage Taker and Ravenous Chupacabra. But we got to play Catacomb first and then the Forest. Okay, Hinterland Harbor is actually a pretty good draw here. What do we got? Memorial to Genius. Right, Logorfin, showing a Rakdos Guildgate. I'm hoping it's not like Rakdos Sacrifice or Mardu Sacrifice stuff with the Mayhem Devil, because we sacrifice a lot of things. We don't really want to be taking damage by sacrificing our own stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and actually play the Memorial to Genius, and then Neoform here, sack you, and go fetch... I think I actually probably should pick up the Jadelight Ranger here instead of the Leyline Prowler. I probably graveyard that at this point just because we have plenty of mana here. And whatever they play, I can steal with Hostage Taker or kill with Chupacabra. So them having a slow start is actually very good for us. Of course, Runaway Steamkin? Really? Interesting. So we'll definitely go... there's not much point in me stealing that, so I'm just gonna kill it. This does me no good to play it, and I don't want them to be able to get it back once I take it with the Hostage Taker. So yeah, they also missed their 3rd land drop, which is terrible. This is probably going to be a turbo concede here. Because if they play another Steamkin or something, I can just kill it, which is sad. It's so sad. You really hate to see it. Ugh. Another Runaway Steamkin. Wonderful. Perfect. Yep. They do have a mountain, though, so they can play something. They might, like... Nope. Okay. We will... Hinterland Harbor. Go... What could we do here? We could do something cool here, but I feel... I mean, the safe choice is just to go Chupacabra, kill their Steamkin. I was thinking about doing something cheeky and... sacrificing Chupacabra to go into like the Biogenic Ooze or something like that, but just not worth it. Yeah, I mean they concede after that play. So let's play again. Yay! We're playing again. Ready. Who we got? Razor X Factor. Oh, this is a wonderful hand. I love this hand. So heck yeah. We go turn 1, Arboreal Grazer. Okay, you'll might actually get to see how the deck is supposed to play here. We go Arboreal Grazer, and then we'll put Drowned Catacomb onto the field. And then next turn, we can Neoform into Fblthp, which is such a good play. I love that play. Okay, Vioshino Pyromancer, which is kind of meh. I don't love that. We'll go... Yikes. Well, okay. I could, though... I could play... Actually, here's what we do. We're going to go Plaguecrafter and make sure we kill their Pyromancer, because this will actually slow them down quite a bit. I was getting excited because I wanted to Neoform from Arboreal Grazer into Fblthp, but I think Plaguecrafter is a better choice just to get rid of that Wizard, because that stops them from, well, they've got another Pyromancer, but it kind of stopped them from being able to play Wizard's Lightning. Okay. We will go... Darn it. Oh, I'm an idiot. If I hadn't just played this Golgari Guildgate, I could have Neoformed into Hostage Taker and then played the Vioshino Pyromancer immediately. But we're going to... Now I have to really just Neoform into Ravenous Chupacabra and kill that instead of... Well, I could have, I guess, taken Hostage Taker and forced them to play multiple spells on it to get their Pyromancer back, but I couldn't really risk them getting that free damage in. And yeah, the Lightning Strike takes Ravenous Chupacabra, which is not the end of the world, but it's not great. And we just have to cross our fingers and hope we draw something good, because they are just only getting Pyromancers, it seems. And we get a Guildgate. Thank you, Fblthp. You've done so well. Good job. What are you even good for, Fblthp? What are you even good for? I mean, I guess you're good for blocking their Pyromancer if they try to attack here. Yeah, we'll definitely take that block. That's super fine. Can you not just draw horrible basic lands? Jeez. Not basic lands, common lands. That's what I meant. I'm losing my mind. I'm so frustrated now because I made that horrible misplay, and unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now they got their Frenzy, and I'm down to 6. If they have... What? What? The dangers of playing 25 lands, I suppose, in MTG Arena. You just get hard screwed. I made one very small misplay, not even that bad of a misplay. Like, I could have had a slightly better turn than I did, which was already a good turn. And we have lost now. Good game, opponent. Stop. Can I play something but mono red? I am so triggered right now. Why? Why are you playing mono red? Stop. It's not even a creative mono red. It's like, this is Ravnica Allegiance mono red. And I'm sad now. Okay, we're going back into it. We're gonna have a better game this time. Slightly better game. Here we go. Alright, Wondery. Wondery, you're a Jace avatar, so I'm assuming you're not going to be playing mono red. Let's hope so. This isn't a bad hand at all. We'll keep this because we can go... Yeah, this isn't bad. Or turn 2 Arboreal Grazer isn't terrible, unless we top deck a forest here. No, so we go Simic Guildgate. Okay, it's looking like Boros mid-range or aggro. That would have been nice last turn. I mean, we play Arboreal Grazer. Which is actually a pretty good blocker for us. We'll put Hinterland Harbor on tapped and then play the swamp. So we have quite a bit of stuff to work with next turn because we can play both Paradise Druid and Neoform to get either another Paradise Druid or probably a Fblthp though. That's probably our best option. And they are showing Guildgates here, which is nice because it slows them down a little bit. I mean, I guess I block this. He dies to shock, but Summit Sprint. Okay, fine. That's fine with me. I mean, I guess I could have taken the damage, but whatever. This does slow me down a touch because I can't get my Fblthp now with the Neoform. But we do still get our Paradise Druid play, at least. Whew. Leyline Prowler, though, is actually a pretty good play. In fact, I think I want to go ahead and get the Leyline Prowler down because even if they play something like Summit Sprint or anything that doesn't give Hunted Witness first strike, we can gain life and kill it. But I probably just won't block whatever it is. But it is nice to have this life linker here because I know they're playing an aggressive strategy, so it's always good to have lifelink. And they passed the turn because I guess they have no threats, no serious threats at least. Okay, I mean we can do a lot here, so I have to think about this. We could tap Leyline Prowler to play Paradise Druid, and then sack Leyline Prowler into yeah, here's what we'll do. Okay, so I'm gonna play the Paradise Druid, right? And then we tap this for a green, and we go Neoform, sacrifice Leyline Prowler to get a hostage taker, and then we steal their Hunted Witness and then play it immediately. I mean, I suppose they might have a Lightning Strike, or actually, Lightning Strike doesn't kill a hostage taker because it's got a +1/+1 counter on it. So that was a nice turn. That was approximately the turn I was trying to do last game, but I accidentally played my Guildgate instead of the basic land that would have helped me make that play because I'm a dum-dum. Okay, so they have nothing. I'm a little bit concerned about a Settle the Wreckage here, so I'm not just going to like attack all. I'm going to, however, attack with both Hostage Taker and Hunted Witness, but I'm not going to attack with Paradise Druid just yet. Settle the Wreckage would not be the end of the world. Okay, no Settle the Wreckage then. We'll just play Vivien Reid. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have a play yet. Like, they've got 5 mana and a handful of cards. I think we take Prime Speaker Vannifar here, because we definitely need that. I could have... What else did I see? I guess I shuffled my deck. Or I put them on the bottom in a random order. Oh, that's a concede. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna play a little bit more. I want to actually get to like the end game with this deck. These matchups have been very strange, really weird. Like, I didn't see anything like what I've seen in my practice games. Ugh. These people, I don't know what's going on with their decks, but they're doing poorly. Okay, ready. This will probably be the last game unless it ends in like 1 second because they just concede or I just concede, depending on what happens here. Okay, well, opponent goes first. We're on the draw, and we do have a Paradise Druid on turn 2. It's a bit slow start, and if it's mono red, we might be screwed if I keep this hand. But I kind of want to keep this hand. I'm pretty sure I keep this hand. Okay, so it's not mono red. They've got an Arboreal Grazer. Uh-oh. Okay, so mono green, and they're ramping. So I will actually play... No, I'm going to go Guildgate just because it comes in tapped. Wayward Swordtooth. I would not be surprised if we saw like a Nissa come out here because they're doing some land stuff. Nice attack. That was scary. Yeah, Paradise Druid comes down here, and we'll keep this. There's the Nissa. Nissa who shakes the world. Yep, they're doing crazy land things, and I don't like it. I don't block it because I need Paradise Druid alive. I can... I need to get to... Actually, Massacre Girl doesn't really get me there. Not quite. I think I need to play that tapped and then just go Jadelight Ranger. This is my best play right now. And we'll keep that on top because this actually what this does for me is this allows me to have a really, really nice Massacre Girl play coming up pretty soon. Because what I can do is go... Actually, next turn I can have a nice Massacre Girl play. So that they're looking for more lands so they can ascend. Dang, this deck is powerful. I don't like it. Okay, this is actually fine because if they attack with these forests, but they're adapting that, so that's a bummer. That kind of ends the plan I had. I'm actually going to not block that, and here's what's going to happen. I think I can wipe the board here. I go Swamp. Massacre Girl is going to kill Paradise Druid, and then Jadelight Ranger, and then keep on, like, just wiping everything. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is why we play Massacre Girl, because it just kills everything. Yes! No, not everything. Not everything. Yes, everything. Yes, it finally did it. Ha-ha! And they have one card. So they can Nissa's Triumph here. So I actually need to get Kraken on this Nissa before she gets to her ultimate, because her ultimate is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So they can Nissa's Triumph for tap 1 mana to play Nissa's Triumph. That's what I was like, they can't adapt their Incubation Druid yet because they don't have enough lands. But I forget that their forests with Nissa, her passive is that their forest tap for mana and it adds an additional green. So you can do a lot with that once you get Nissa on the field. Even though I killed a bunch of 2 of their lands, they can still do a lot with it.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Can they cannot proliferate with Karn's Bastion. I think I blocked this. They don't have enough. Oh, shoot. They did have enough. I didn't know they could tap this one to do it. Dang it. Oh, that sucks. Oh, but wait. Here, we can do this, though. Haha. It's not over yet. We can do this. Plaguecrafter, we force them to kill their Nissa, and we probably win the game now. Because that was about to get crazy. I almost misplayed that horribly. Technically I did kind of misplay it, but since we killed their Nissa, it's all good. I'm actually going to go ahead and call it there. This deck actually turned out to be super fun. I knew it was going to be super fun. It turned out better than I thought, actually. Yeah, I like this deck. I didn't do a sideboard for this, just because I was only going to play it in best of 1. But I think, you probably... To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what to sideboard, and I don't want to make something up on the top of my head and tell you something stupid, because I put a lot of time into making this main board, but I did not spend time making, you know, sideboard options. But obviously you run like other creatures, more removal for mid-rangey and you know, like aggressive decks, potentially more Leyline Prowlers for aggressive decks, and Massacre Girls because you need removal for that stuff, you know. So stuff like that, and more Planeswalkers against control because you need more value and such. So that's all that is going to be for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still with me, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Yep, that's all I'm gonna say. So bye bye.